Welcome back, everybody. We're going to match two here, excuse me, in Group B. Reynor has fallen. He's not out of the group yet. He can fight back from the loser's match. But we have to see who wins and who loses between soO and GuMiho coming up.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting match. soO looked a lot better last season of GSL than he had in recent seasons. You know, this is a guy that was a perennial finals candidate in pretty much any tournament he would enter for years and years and years.
It's kind of sad. We were basically expecting soO to grow into the GOAT spot or kind of fall out and get stuck in second place and then, you know, drop down. And it was the latter that happened. But, you know, every season at GSL, it's a moment to turn a new leaf. A new chapter here, so let's see how he can do.
I mean, Maru, CVT hasn't really been his strongest suit, but was able to win at least one game against Maru there previously in GSL. So soO looking a lot better in terms of his recent form.
But of course, he is going up against GuMiho, and you know, the thing with GuMiho is he's just not like any other Terran. He's got a different approach. He thinks about the game differently. All the Terrans can be playing a certain way, and he'll still come out with kind of his own brand. He mechs a lot, and even when he mechs, he doesn't mech like the other players do. He is capable of playing the standard orthodox TVZ as well, so should be a fun one.
Yeah, I wonder what GuMiho is going to bring to the table in this, because we have seen some really clever builds, especially mech-based builds, and a variety of different matchups over the past couple of seasons, I think. It's been almost a reimagining of Terran gameplay here in Korea. It's been a lot of fun to watch, and GuMiho, one of the most creative players we have here in the GSL. Let's see who's going to take it here in match number 2 to join Hero in the winner's match. soO versus GuMiho. Let's get started.
Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. You looking for trouble? Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Tell them it's going down now.
Okay. In the top right, soO. In the bottom left, GuMiho.
Playing on Crimson Court here for map number one. Jesus, what is wrong with me? I did not have enough coffee, man. Tripping over these words. soO, of course, one of these players with such a long history of success in Korea. So many fans pulling for him to make a return to form. I mean, what a treat that would be.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was exciting watching, you know, how strong he became, kind of the middle of StarCraft 2's history. You know, it's so rare to get to a finals that often. It's kind of crazy he didn't, you know, end up taking one in that period where he was, you know, it was over and over and over. So let's see how he performs. You know, I think there's always a little bit of desperation right when an RTS comes out, that to win and to do as well as you possibly can, because how long is it going to be around and what's next? But with StarCraft 2 is kind of seasoned as it is, I think it gives some players some ease of mind that, you know, just try your best the next time around and see what happens. And we're looking at, I think, a pretty different soO mindset-wise than the one in the past. I think he's a lot more comfortable.
Absolutely. I feel like the veterancy and also the lower expectations is something that can take quite a bit of pressure off on the big stage, like at the GSL here for a player like soO. So it's always good when we see him come out with a performance like he did in the previous season, where he looks more and more like the soO of old, because I guarantee you the mindset, that kind of experience is worth its weight in gold. And if soO can get his play back to the same level it was before, I could easily see him being a championship contender once again. But here in Group B, it's going to be a tough journey forward. This is about as stacked as a group in the GSL could possibly be, as GuMiho comes in here with this early Reaper. Ooh, nice grenade. Almost got that drone.
Yeah, really good control so far here from soO.
Wow,
even keeps that second Ling alive. Look at that.
I mean, he got caught with his pants down a little bit with those 2 Lings in the middle of the map, running into the Lone Reaper. But able to save absolutely everything there is Some impeccable control behind this. GuMiho going for a third command center. Very fast factory with a reactor in the pipeline here for Terran.
So he's just going to leave that Reaper back there for the time being. Try to patrol. He's going to try to wrap around again here. Maybe get a kill on these lings, get some closure. And he's actually, oh wow, almost gets that drone.
Gonna sustain a little bit of damage on the way out, but nothing fatal there as the Reaper does get 2 kills.
So it's going to be 3 command centers. He is going for like a 1-1-1, excuse me, a 1-1-1 after that third CC.
And look at this really fast layer from soO here, Tasteless.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Huh, 200 gas in the bank already. I wonder what the game plan is here for soO.
You gotta wonder too, because there's a Reaper moving around the map. And I mean, first of all, he's just gonna see the layer here. I was gonna say he could also just notice that there's not a third base anywhere, right? I mean, that's another kind of red flag.
Yeah, he scouts pretty much everything. Sees the double gas in the natural expansion, sees it's only 2 base layer.
Now, I wonder if there's going to be a deviation from whatever the build was because this is spotted, right? Doesn't it feel like if you're Terran and you spot a 2 base layer, you just have to be ready for something weird?
Yeah, but it's at the same time going to be a little bit hard here for GuMiho because of how fast that third command center was. If soO decides to fully pull the trigger here in terms of aggression as that Reaper finally does get cleaned up, I'm not sure we're going to be able to see GuMiho stop it that easily. Now, he is going for Banshees, which do a great job of dealing with early aggression because, you know, Queens are basically the only unit soO's going to have that can shoot up. And also sniping these Overlords like this, or trying to.
That's
going to slow down the pace here for soO quite a bit.
I mean, the one Banshee can over time hold off whatever you're going to throw at it, right? Unless you do have Queens in there. But, you know, at the same time, the attack that's going to come here from soO, it's not going to be without some sacrifice economically on his own end here. It looks like he's pushing the creep out so he can expand kind of towards the Terran. Stim being researched now, so it's not going to be any kind of wacky GuMiho mech. Instead, it's going to be that standard biotech off the 3 base. So this is about as vanilla of a build as you can take here from GuMiho.
And I kind of like what I'm seeing here from soO. He's playing this 2 base style with a very fast layer, getting relatively quick roach speed, roach ravager, staying on a low drone count, but 2 base saturation. And then behind it, he's taking the third with a high yield Vespian gas, which as soon as you grab that thing, it's like you have an extra 2 drones in your economy. And you know, if he had taken the expansion more quickly, probably hard for him to hold on to that high yield gas. He would have had to take the less coveted base in the triangle third instead, but here on Crimson Court, this is a map that is not very easy for Zerg, generally speaking. And so I like soO kind of going a little bit off the playbook here with this Roach Ravager aggression. Even 3 Queens slow walking here to join the fray, so he will have an answer.
Okay, so this is a little bit more of a move to close the game out. This is not just a forced second, third base lift here. He's going to come forward now.
I think the goal here is just to get big damage. He's starting to drone a little bit behind this. Actually, 10 more drones in queue right now as soO's looking to try and reap the rewards of this aggression. SCV's pulled here on the front line.
Yeah, SCV's in the front now. With a couple of Ravager shots, he could try to snipe that tank. The SCVs have to stay in the front. The Banshee goes down immediately.
Yeah, nice pick there from soO. And he's killing so many SCVs right now. The green from GuMiho getting punished so hard.
Dude, this is a crazy amount of damage here. He takes the tank out now, so there's no anchor. Well, hold on. There's another tank up on the high ground.
Yeah, the siege tank just popped from the factory, but now the second base is getting lifted. 30 SCVs in total have gone down. 4 mules, relatively fresh, landed here at the natural, getting absolutely nothing done. And soO just punished GuMiho's greed so hard. He's basically already at full 3-base saturation. I mean, it's only 63 drones, but he has that high-yield gas. So this is a 3-base saturation for Zerg.
Yeah.
And he's taking that 4th hatchery. So this was a really well-structured build coming out from soO. Just playing the map, playing the player, and just absolutely getting the soul read on the very fast 3rd CC from GuMiho and punishing him for it.
So this counter punch has to do something here. He's going to swoop through. He's going to unload here in the main. There's creep tumors to spot this. You can see that the Roaches and Ravagers are going to try to come back, but they're certainly not going to have that much time here. Stim Marines come through and wipe out the Queen, and now the drones are stuck. So many kills over here.
Yeah, at least 10 drones going to go down right now as the Roaches finally come back in to try and save the day. And GuMiho needed that badly.
Yeah. So, not bad. Playing a little bit of catch-up here. Right now, GuMiho's still at only 31 workers. That's after the 10 drone kills there. But, you know, you can see how much more quickly Marine Medevac can get around than Roach Ravager, right? And in cases like this, they can even fight on the ground. If you don't have enough of whatever Roach Ravager setup you've got, then they can just keep pressing forward and doing damage. So that's pretty insane.
Yeah, without a good number of speedlings, it's really hard just to kind of play cat and mouse with those.
Now, this could be really good or really bad, actually, because if this is an overextension here, I feel like GuMiho is going to get flattened with a counterattack. But he's going to come out regardless.
I'm wondering if soO might have overdrone just a little bit here as Roaches and Ravagers engaging here on the front line. Siege Tank's actually not sieged up just yet.
Dude, every bile is connected with an infantry unit here.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Okay, so this was a mistake from GuMiho. I was a little bit worried. I think when he saw how little was there initially, he thought, oh, okay, I just need to, you know, go for the kill. But instead, it's an overextension.
I was worried for soO for a moment there, going up to 70 drones. I saw him go for the big production of Roaches, and I was thinking, you know, maybe GuMiho sieges this, gets entrenched, and then it's hard to see the breach. But, I mean, those biles were just absolutely on the money here for soO. And GuMiho's going to come in here for the follow-up attack, but there might just be just enough sustain here for Zerg on the ground. Seeing soO waltz his way to a victory here in the mid-game tasteless. This is hard for GuMiho to get any momentum going in the middle of the map.
I mean, I feel like GuMiho needs to just stop pushing here. I don't know what he thinks he's going to get done. Roach Ravager is kind of made so that you can't push into it early. That's why you usually see Terrans like trying to just defend attacks like this and not attack into it. And I feel like GuMiho maybe just kind of letting the situation run away. Like you know, he started doing it, now he's just going to keep doing it.
I feel like, yeah, I think to put myself in GuMiho's shoes, you lose that many SCVs, and you feel obligated to try and get something done, right? So it's hard really to fault him for trying to go for a counterattack like that one. And actually, soO here now committing back onto the third base. Great biles there on the Siege Tank are going to take it out. Follow-up biles going in onto the second Siege Tank, trying to get some damage done. As the Marine numbers have thinned so heavily. More Roaches streaming in here into the third. GG is called, and soO with a really brilliant game plan there in game number one. I love the way that he just attacked GuMiho with that build. I mean, that lined up about as well as it possibly could have.
You know, I like that the 2 medevac counter drop to do damage. I think when he saw, like, I think it was like 2 Roaches and 2 Ravagers trying to defend, like, the 4th hatchery, I think he thought, oh, I can actually win this game right now, and he just pulled everything, and that's when the game backfired really badly. So, look, a great early game attack there from soO. He did everything he needed to do, and then GuMiho kind of threw the game when it maybe could have stabilized. We're going to Site Delta for map number 2.
Man, I'm excited for this. soO's been looking so good lately. GuMiho, one of the best Terran players in the world, certainly one of the best in Korea. Already here on match point against the underdog of the group. soO leading this series 1-0 as we get ready to go to Site Delta. Will he join Hero in the winners match, or will we go to a game number 3 between these two guys? Let's get to it.
Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. You looking for trouble? Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Tell them it's going down now. Let's go.
Okay, soO in the bottom right, GuMiho in the top left. Again, soO looking really good. Really, really strong. And playing an overall good game here. You know, GuMiho, we always got to ask, oh, from Germany, welcome.
I want to read that sign in the back, too.
I know.
I came to Korea. I didn't get to see all of it, like to drink soju and watch StarCraft is what I'm imagining it said.
That's what it should have said.
Yeah.
We didn't say that already. For those of you whose signs didn't get on camera fully, just hold them up in the next game. We'll eventually get them. Yeah, soO looked really good in that last game. GuMiho, you know, you never know which card he's going to pull out of his deck. And the thing about GuMiho is he will do the really standard play. Let's see what he does this time around.
Yeah, I doubt we're going to see the same heavily greedy build that we saw him do in game number 1, because he just got like absolutely kneecapped by soO in the early game. That was a build basically designed to kill the 3cc greed with fast double engineering bay that GuMiho tried to bring to the table there in game number 1. And here in game number 2, I mean, GuMiho is one of these Terrans, much like Maru, who just has an unbelievable range of builds that he can draw from at any moment. And so I wonder if he is going to try and go back into the 3cc thing, or if he will go into something a little bit more GuMiho-esque, such as mech, such as battle mech. Maybe something sneaky with speed banshees. I mean, it's I think you can list pretty much any single unit Terran can build, and GuMiho probably has a build centered around that.
Is he going to go for Reaper Cyclone this time? We're going to find out.
If anyone could do it with the current Cyclones, it would be GuMiho.
Yeah, but let's see what he goes for here. I think part of you know, the punishing play from soO does come from the fact that GuMiho did get kind of like, it's like the normie greed build. You know, it's like 3 command centers into like 1/1/1 bio. And if you do a push, not just with Roach Ravager, but with Queens too, then they don't have the anti-air. Normally what happens is you get a Banshee and the Terran has to lift and use siege tanks to try to defend and not lose too many SCVs, and you hold it over time. But in that game, he just took way more damage. So he's going to go for the 3rd command center again. This literally could be the same build as the game 1.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how he opened up in game 1. If it was the fast 3rd CC and then the factory, or if it was exactly this.
No, I think it was this.
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah.
Well, this could be the other side of the coin. Is sometimes as a pro gamer playing in a series, you have this build prepared, you know it is good when it works. When it fires on all cylinders, you know the potential, and you practiced it. And sometimes you have a game where it just gets completely derailed early on, and you're like, I'm just going to go back into this because I know how good it is when it goes well.
Well, you can fumble the build, so to speak. And, you know, it might look like it's not that strong, but you just need to actually get it to where it's supposed to be, and you're fine.
It will be a little bit different.
Okay, so it's the same buildings, but what's coming out of them is a little bit different. So this is going to be 1 Viking coming up here.
Vikings with multiple Hellions getting reactored out. soO, by the way, was able to sneak that drone into the 3rd base past the Reaper, so nice early 3rd hat-trick for him, especially because GuMiho is opting for the 1 barracks opening instead of the 2 barracks Reaper opening that we've been seeing oh so often here in GSL. These 4 Lings are going to work their way into the natural expansion, actually looking more to get some scouting done. Looking for that wall too. Forcing some idle time in the natural as these Hellions are just not getting microed. One of them gets picked off there. A rare hiccup here for GuMiho.
Yeah, Hellions continuing to come out in pairs here as that tech lab is going to finish up on the barracks.
It seems like he's trying to gear up for some sort of run-by with Hellions. And so losing that 1 Hellion in the front line like that against Queens just hurts a little bit here for GuMiho.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, and it's delayed Banshees, too. This is an interesting way going about it. soO, by the way, already throwing down a Baneling's Nest.
Yeah, the layer coming as well. And I guess for now, we've got to watch these Hellions and see what kind of damage he can get done. They're going to come straight through the middle here, taking out the first creep tumor. He is going to be in a position to take out a lot of drones. Drones are going to be transferred away, but they're shot down as well.
Got to be careful right there. Oh man, that grenade was so good there by GuMiho. There was a surround of the drones on the Hellions, and the grenade basically unseated the Hellions from the surround. He picks up a lot more kills. Almost the entire mineral line gets cleaned up. These Lings, though, getting some counter damage of their own here for soO. 4 SCVs fall, and the Banshee tech gets scouted. All the Hellions get cleaned up as well.
So, you know, not bad for sure for GuMiho. Getting as many drone kills as possible is the goal. He will go into bio. Of course, whenever you make that many Hellions, it does delay when the bio starts, right? But I think it's a manageable position here from soO. The counterattack did, I mean, I guess killing 4 SCVs is fine, right? Yeah.
It's kind of a scary thing here, though, for GuMiho, because anytime you're the Zerg player and you see that many Hellions out on the map, you know that's pretty much all of the production that Terran has had in that game up until that point. So after the Hellions got cleaned up, even though they destroyed a good number of drones, we saw soO power up with something like 20+ more drones behind it, because he knows that the follow-up attack from Terran has at least a minute and a half, 2 minutes in the pipeline. He has time to build up his economy again, all the way up to 70 drones now with a 4th and even a 5th base coming through here, and still have the confidence to be able to hold on once that follow-up attack comes in. Baneling speed is in production. 1-1 already started here for soO, not too far behind the 1-1 of GuMiho, as soO is really powering up back at home, going into Hydra Ling Bane.
So the Banshee's going to come through the bottom here. Just trying to pick off some more workers. There was never that big counterattack coming through. We also have a small push coming up here. Now this I wasn't quite expecting. Oh, actually, he's going to turn around with it. I guess a small link counterattack is going to draw it away.
And these SCVs so bruised from the previous attacks.
It is a little bit different how soO used to play. If you notice, soO does like the absolute bare minimum of links to counterattack. When he was, I guess you could say, in his quote-unquote prime, it was like he counterattacked with the most links. He was very heavy on the counterattacks and kind of bleeding you out before you got your turn to push. This time it's much more about just stalling and buying time, but actually being ready for the push. And that push is coming in right now.
Yeah, and I feel like
there it is.
Once again,
4 more, yeah.
4 links coming in to the 3rd. And oh, what GuMiho's looking at that. The Banelings are getting some good connections with the Marines on the front lines. And this push just gets completely stopped in its tracks. God, soO is playing some great CBT today.
And, GuMiho with these very ineffectual pushes. I mean, really not able to do anything. Most games in TVZ, you see the push set up, the Zergs get back and brace for impact, and then the real story starts, right? This is like Terran coming out and just getting smashed.
Yeah, and look at the creep spread on the map, too. We've already pretty much reached the halfway point here at 8 minutes with soO on 5 bases, 82 drones with this healthy army of Ling Hydra Bane. This is a very formidable position here for Zerg. The siege tank count has been reset from that previous attack, and so GuMiho's going to try and press forward just with the Marines, but the connections here on creep are just too good, even running away from the medevacs. And soO is just dominating in this series, Tasteless. I don't know what else to say.
I feel like GuMiho's head is already underwater. I mean, the fact that he's making a 4th command center too means I think a counterattack could just kill him. It's possible Zerg just ramps up to maxed out supply. I think there's like 1 tank in the mix. I see 1 tank at the top left side of the screen, but like he doesn't have a whole lot to actually hold this. Sorry, 2 tanks. We have a lot of Banes coming here. Hydra Ling Bane, the damage really piles up very quickly.
I mean, the SimCity might save GuMiho here.
Yeah, it's pretty bottlenecked right there.
It's a tough position to break here as a Zerg, but soO at the very least, he's buying himself a lot of space. The creep spread has almost reached the 3rd base of Terran here, which is something that you would expect in a game where Reynor is playing or soO is playing, but this is soO with some of the best creep spread we've seen from him in years, it feels like. Just playing a phenomenal ZBT, nearing maxed pop now. And GuMiho trying to take this 4th base. The Ling spotting these Marines there should telegraph that Terran is expanding that side of the map, and I wonder if soO is going to shift his attention over there to the 9 o'clock position.
Yeah, I think that's the play. Well, hold on. He might just go for it. Okay. He's going to back up for a second. And he's going to loop around here, yeah, to that 9 o'clock spot like we were talking about. And I think that's probably the smart move. At this point in time, soO is maxed out in supply. He's made so many Banelings, he basically has to spend them. He's going to try to come up now and hit this position.
Yeah, Lings and Banelings running in the front lines, getting some good connections here with the Marines to start out, and then pulling back with the Banelings. Even these Lings flanking in, going to try and pick off that siege tank there at the low ground. They barely just miss it, but the firepower here on the front line is so high for soO. That siege tank alive is adding a lot of damage here for Terran, but it doesn't matter. 21 SCVs go down. The Marine numbers have thinned out almost completely, and GG again.
Damn, dude.
Wow.
soO looking really scary. Now, I'm super hyped about the winners match here because soO versus Hero, what is this going to look like?
That was one of the best series I've seen from soO against one of the top Terrans we have here in Korea. That was phenomenal.
When is the last time we saw GuMiho lose like that?
I mean, I can't even remember.
Or like GuMiho can't even get outside of his base. He just, I mean, it's kind of crazy.
soO just with the counterattacks and the greed, and then intercepting the pushes at the perfect moment, both in Game 1 and Game 2. Really phenomenal stuff. Almost a return to form here for soO. I am so hyped for this winners match, Tasteless.
Look at his face. Stone Cold Killer, man. All right, guys, short break. Coming up next, soO versus Hero. We will be right back.
I got medals round my neck. I'm cashing everybody's check. When it's sink or swim, I was born to win. I got medals round my neck. I'm cashing everybody's check. When it's sink or swim, you can't stop me. I was born to win.
Oh yeah, I'm going for the goal. Where's the throne? That's my spot no matter whatever you told. I don't see no competition, not to mention what I'm supposed. Taking over, crashing ceilings, baby, I'ma do the most. Standing firm, 10 toes.